Hey, my name is Matt. I am a full-time clothing seller on eBay, and I am also a fisherman. And this video is about fishing shirts that you can get used, thrift stores, garage sales, etc., and sell on eBay for enough money to make it worth it for the most part. That's not actually the primary criteria that I've used to assemble this list. These are all brands of fishing shirts or searches that include the key phrase fishing shirt, which is an important difference, that have very, very high sell-through. So all of these will have close to an even match between actives and solds, or the solds will outnumber the active listings. And what that does is it ensures that what you're selling is in relatively high demand, which is what we want and certainly what I want. So there's two different kinds of fishing shirt that I'm going to show you. There's these, which are proper fishing shirts, and then there are other varieties of shirt to which the phrase fishing shirt applies. And fishing shirt, as I will demonstrate to you here, is a very powerful key phrase to put in your titles, because it can make the difference between selling something in a crowded brand and not selling it. And I'll show you what I mean in detail here. But first, let me show you what an actual fishing shirt looks like in case you're not familiar. So you've probably seen these before if you're a reseller. A proper fishing shirt can be differentiated from a general hiking shirt or outdoor shirt in a couple of, I guess, relatively subtle ways. For the most part, all of them are going to have these two front pockets, and a lot of them will have these, they'll look more folded. They'll have a crease, a couple of creases down the middle, and they'll billow out. And that allows fisher people to put tackle, gear, lures, fly boxes, etc. in their chest pockets, so they'll be expandable. You'll also see, if you can see just to the right of the placket there, that vertical line, there's a zippered pocket underneath that flap. That's really common. I think it's for putting wallet and phone in while you fish. There's that little tab there. You'll see little tabs and buttons in weird places and straps, etc. Sometimes there will be a strap across the chest there. They look kind of like tactical shirts, and obviously they look like hiking shirts as well. The other big tell is that they will be vented in the back. They will have these panels underneath which are sheets of breathable fabric, of mesh fabric, and they don't show that in this ad, but it looks like that. It looks like that fabric. So if you find a shirt, even if it doesn't say fishing on it, if it's not a fishing specific brand, and it doesn't have any other tells that it might be a fishing shirt, you can still list it as a fishing shirt, which again, as I'll show you, is actually something that I advocate doing, because it'll up the sell-through. Okay, so obviously this is the first brand, Patagonia. Not really a big shocker here, but let me show you the sell-through and how I'm actually figuring this out. So all of these are going to be, as I said, pre-owned. So this is 133 active on the market on eBay right now. And when we go over to solds, we will see a slow computer. We will see 248. So that means that you can expect to sell your shirt within 3 months. If you price it right, if you price it low, probably much quicker, within a couple weeks. And that's what I'm looking for, and that's all the brands here. So going through this definitely not exhaustive list. This is just kind of the low-hanging fruit. Cabela's is a sporting good store. It's like a mega store that got bought out by Bass Pro Shops about a decade ago. And their fishing shirts sell much better than Bass Pro Shops. 261 actives. 204. So that's not a complete grand slam 100% sell through, but that's high enough that it would still justify buying it if I could get it for cheap enough. This is one of those brands where if you look down here, you do have to be a little bit cautious because this isn't like a Patagonia. This isn't something that's going to fetch a whole ton of money necessarily, but if you can find the right thing, then it'll be worth more. And you can see here kind of what I'm talking about. See how big those pockets are? See that weird strap across the chest? In fact, let me pull this up. So we have a few more tells here that this is a fishing shirt. Those big ass pockets in front. See the zippers? See all the nested pockets? There are pockets within pockets. And this thing right here, this strap across the chest, I've never been able to figure out what that's actually for. I know that it's fishing specific. I've never figured out what it is. And then the shoulder straps, and then there's a button here on the sleeve so that you can roll it up, and there will be a strap inside of that sleeve to secure the rolled up sleeve. That is what a proper fishing shirt looks like. Simms is a fishing specific brand, so any Simms shirt is going to be a fishing shirt. If you find anything Simms at all, here's the logo, or it'll say Simms spelled out. Just get it. Simms is a phenomenal seller, and it's all way too expensive. This is very bougie. Paying $5,000 to go fly fishing in Montana for a week type clientele. And as you can see, the sell-through is just crazy. Don't find it that often, but when you do pick it up, the demand is definitely there. This is a saltwater fishing brand that has crazy demand for it. I've found a couple pieces. You cannot hang on to them. 23 actives for pre-owned versus 105. You'll be able to sell these within a week of listing them unless you just price them all crazy. That's the logo right there. It'll say pelagic. It has that one has a swordfish. This one has a tuna. It'll have some sort of a deep sea game fish. There it is. And sometimes you get, let me see if there's any here. You get these crazy graphic t-shirts like this. You get these gaudy all over graphic shirts. So here's a good illustration of the power of this phrase, fishing shirt. This is not a great brand. This is a so-so brand, but when you throw in fishing shirt, the sell-through is there. So 409 for ex officio fishing shirts active versus 311. So that's decent sell-through. That's decently high sell-through. If you compare that to just standard vanilla ex officio shirt, about 1,800 to 990. That's like half the sell-through as when you accidentally quit Chrome. So this is much more powerful. So if you find one of these shirts, they're not going to be specifically fishing labeled. I've never found an ex officio quote-unquote fishing shirt. You just find these travel shirts or hiking shirts with the pockets and the venting, general outdoor shirts, slap fishing on the title, and you have a close to 100% sell-through item. Here's another example of that. Mountain Hardwear shirts, same deal. It's generally in demand, but not crazy high demand. But when you make it a fishing shirt, and obviously you can't fudge this too much, there has to be some plausible reason to call it a fishing shirt, the sell-through is much better. That's 100% sell-through over 3 months. And just one more illustration of this. REI shirts do not sell barely at all. I've never really focused on it as a resale item, but having crunched these numbers just now, I realized that might have been a mistake. This is another example of not 100% sell-through, but really decent sell-through. And this is another one, doesn't sell for crazy money. But again, if I found this for $1, $2, $3, I would probably pull the trigger on it at this point, just based on the strength of that search phrase. LL Bean fishing shirt. Again, not to beat this horse. LL Bean shirts, not super in demand, kind of flooded. LL Bean fishing shirt. %, very close to 100%. As you can see, these all kind of fit the description here. Here is a proper fishing shirt brand. And also keep in mind, a lot of these companies make fishing specific shorts, pants, shoes, hats, etc. This is kind of a bellwether for these brands in general. If you found a pair of Huck shorts, I don't even know if they make shorts, but if you found a pair of Sims shorts, then I'm sure the sell-through would be there as well. This is a really strong fishing brand. This is more bass fishing oriented than fly fishing or saltwater, I believe. And the sell-through is pretty nuts. So 60 actives, again, pre-owned, and compare to 232. So these are very, very, very in demand. Here is a fishing-oriented company, Salty Crew. They do mostly t-shirts. That's what you're going to find. I don't even know if they make those button-down fishing shirts at all. This is 103 sold, and backing up, we have 57 active. So you can expect to sell yours in 2 months or less, probably much less. Not insane money, but really, really good sell-through. This is probably the one that you're going to encounter, and if there was a mascot for the fishing shirt, it would be the Columbia PFG, which stands for Pro Fishing Gear. This is the Hulk Hogan fishing shirts, and you have to tread lightly because there's so much supply that it drives the price way down. So you have to look before you leap a lot of the time. But if you can find these cheap, it's probably worth it. If you can find it new, it's worth it. Big sizes, etc. Or if they have decals, emblems from other companies. So about $4,500 active for pre-owned. And I was surprised by this because I did not think that it would be 100% sell-through on these because I thought it would be too flooded. However, more than 100% sell-through. Wouldn't you know? Fishing shirts are also seasonal. We're going into late spring, summer. I think, well, we're technically in summer now, so these vintage shirts are going to be even more in demand than they have been. Columbia PFGs. Under Armour does make fishing-specific shirts, but again, if you see something that just generally looks like it fits the bill, I would list it as a fishing shirt because 84 actives, 392 sold. That, I think, takes the cake for this whole list. Unbelievable. That really dropped my jaw when I saw that. So, Under Armour fishing shirts maybe should be your first stop on your fishing shirt resale journey. This one comes with more provisos. Orvis, their vintage stuff is definitely worth quite a bit more, as you can see here. This is a leather hunting vest or fishing vest. The contemporary stuff, I think they sell it at Costco now. It's more flooded. It's not worth as much as once it was, but there's still enough meat on the bone here, at least in terms of demand. So pre-owned, 618 for fishing shirt versus 865 active. So another one that's not 100% sell-through, but I included it here because if you can find it for really cheap, and if it's one of these button-down fishing shirts, I would consider pulling the trigger on it because there is demand for it. This I wanted to throw in there because it's not a fishing-specific brand. It's just a general outdoor brand, but it's so unbelievably strong that just in case you didn't know about it, I wanted to bring it to your attention. Arc'teryx stuff, it's just one of my absolute favorite brands to sell. In fact, that's my listing right there. Yeah, so 3x sell through, and let me show you the logo. It's it'll take forever to pull up on this very slow computer, but it'll say this, it'll spell out the brand name, and it'll have this little Archaeopteryx fossil decal. Looks like a little lizard bird thing. This was a new one to me. I didn't know that Vineyard Vines made a fishing specific shirt, but they do. They make one of those, vented button down 2-pocket shirts. 72 active for pre-owned, 96. So more than 100% sell through on that. This was another surprise. I had always assumed that this was a trash brand because I had run this search a couple times, but I guess things change. Magellan, 436 active versus 431. So 100% sell through. They don't sell for a crazy amount of money, but again, like a couple of the brands that I've shown you, if you can get it for cheap, why not? The demand is there, someone will buy it. And the logo it just says Magellan. It's a spell out logo. No great shock here. Cool shirts that include the fishing keyword. That's 22 solds versus 13 actives. We all know cool. We should all know cool. That's one of the best brands in clothing resale. You don't need to add the extra spice of fishing in there to sell it. I just thought I would include it for my own amusement. This is another one like Magellan that I was surprised by. I thought that Habit was total trash, but it turns out it is not, in fact, trash. I'll pull that up to show you the logo, and 214 actives for pre-owned with 299 sold. And just like Magellan, these are selling typically for $15 to $25. You're not going to pay off your mortgage with these, but if you find them for cheap, you might as well. And that's the logo right there. I won't put you through the paces of all of the solds and actives. I think you get the idea. Howler Brothers, didn't know they make fishing shirts. It's a good brand in general. Be on the lookout for it. It's a spell out tag. Just says Howler Bros on it. I already showed you Salty Crew. Salt Life, same deal. It's like Salty Crew. It's just generally fishing themed stuff. It's mostly t-shirts. Really good sell through on it. If you could find it cheap, sell it. And that's the logo right there, Salt Life. And last, another one of these sleeper brands. I have never bought one of these for resale, but I saw it in the sold listings on eBay. So I ran the numbers, and just to finish out the video, 110 active versus 98 sold. Who knew? eBay knew, which is why it is important to do this kind of research. So I hope that helps you. If you've never sold this sort of a shirt before, if you can find the right one, they're just easy flips. They're easy to list. They sell for women as well as men, and I hope that you can find them and make a little bit of money, and I hope this video helped you out. So thanks for watching, guys.